Hey, what's up, everyone? It's another week. That means it's time for another episode of Movie Time. Got myself, Rene, LOWKEY, here with my buddy, Blake, the Wolf. What's going on, dude?
Rene, it's raining out here in New York City.
Yes,
and
it
I would
is.
just like to say that I am not feeble. I am the Fury.
Oh,
Our
okay.
there's no spoilers there, but we're talking about polite society today. It's one of my
Yes.
favorite lines from the movie. How are you feeling, man? You ready to get into it?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm ready to get it. It's been a busy week with a lot of stuff and news and trailers coming out of CinemaCon and all that. So it was pretty busy. But yeah, I had a chance to see Polite Society, which is one of several new movies that came out this week. Another new movie that came out also more worldwide is not worldwide, but more stateside is Sisu, which is a movie that I was able to catch earlier. So if you
Oof.
want to see kind of my thoughts and review on that, check out the review I have on the channel right now. But yeah, we're gonna be talking about Polite Society today, and then we have an interesting game. It's gonna be the first time that we're gonna be doing this, and we're gonna make it an annual thing. Something that I thought would be kind of cool, given that we are now approaching the summer months, and that means for movie fans, it's summer movie box office bonanza time. So,
Summy movie box office. Summy
Summy.
movies.
So we are going to be doing our very own summer movie blockbuster draft, where basically each of us will draft 10 movies each. And what we'll do is that we'll see who, at the end of the summer, who comes up with the highest box office totals. So it'll be a lot of fun, and it's definitely going to let us think a little bit differently about our choices. And as people who follow just movies in general, and me, I follow box office stuff all the time. I figured it'll be just really fun and easy for us to do. So yeah, definitely stay tuned for that. That's going to be coming up later on in the episode. But before we get into all things, as always, if you are brand new to this channel and you like what you see so far, then make sure you hit that like button, subscribe, hit the notification bell to get notified every time a brand new video is posted. If you want Low-Key Geek on the go, check out the Low-Key Geek podcast channel on your podcast platform of choice, where you can download audio versions of things we do here on the channel and check them out. Listen to them on your way to work, on your way to school, on the toilet, in the gym, whatever the case is. You could do that there. And last but not least, if you are in a position to further help support the channel and help the channel grow, definitely check out our affiliates that we have in the description. You may find something pretty cool for yourself or for a loved one. And by participating, you will be supporting this channel at no additional cost to you. And for that, Blake and I are very thankful and grateful for all that. So, all that out of the way, how have you been, dude? How was your week?
Busy.
Yeah.
Always been busy. Yeah. I haven't been seeing as many movies lately. I need to see Sisu for sure. That is, I think, top
Yeah.
of my list. So
Yeah.
as soon as I have a little bit of time, I'm planning to go straight to the theater and watch that one. Off of your recommendation, and I've been getting ads for it lately.
Oh, have you?
Yeah. There's just, what's the tagline? It's like John Wick, but for Vikings or something like that. Like,
Yeah, I kind of don't like the way that they're using the John Wick moniker here. I think it's because it's catchier because it's more recent.
Right.
It's really more of like a Rambo. That's the way I look at it, because
I'm thinking like Northman-y vibes. Is it Vikings?
It's not Vikings. No, it's just basically
Who is
World
it?
War II. It's World War II.
Oh, okay,
in
that's
Finland.
right. Yes, that's what
Yeah.
it was. That
Yeah.
I messed up the slogan, but
Yeah.
regardless, I'm trying to like not look at too much of it. So I just kind of saw the tagline in your review and like say less. So I think that it just threw me like there will be a lot of action, and
Yeah.
I'll go see the movie. So that's what I'm hyped for. Reviews seem to be pretty good. Like there's some
Yeah.
good word of mouth stuff going on for it. So I'm excited about that one. Otherwise, I've just been like hardcore in Succession world more than anything.
Yeah.
And I know we do not talk about TV shows here. It's movie time, not telly time.
Right.
But I've been hardcore in that world. I love that show. I need more friends to talk about it with, apparently.
Yeah.
I'm going to see if I can get on another person's channel. If anyone has a Succession YouTube channel, let me know, and I'll come on.
I'm
and
sure
talk about
there
it
are
for
many.
hours.
Yeah, I'm sure there are many. That is a show I've definitely had on my queue for a very long time, and I've had people like yourself friends of ours who have said you would love this show. This is a show for you. Da da da. This and that. I just haven't had a chance to watch it. Now that shows like The Mandalorian, like that's done. There's no more The Last of Us. I have been watching Yellow Jackets, regular
Oh,
like every
okay.
week, which I really dig.
I
So
need to
that's
watch
one
that.
thing. But yeah, my TV viewing right now is kind of empty at the moment. So I may actually go back and now start digging into Succession because this last season, you're pretty much in the middle of it, right?
Yep, episode 5. If you were able to catch up by the time of the finale, we have a little watch party. You come over,
Hey,
I'll make some little popcorn on the stove, and we'll have a hell of a time with it.
all right,
It's one of those. It takes a little bit to get into high quality drama, but as
yeah,
soon as you're hooked, it is oof, so good. We're not going to keep talking about it, but it is actually like high quality television, closer to movies and hour-long episodes and all.
sure.
Which, yeah,
Well,
full send recommend.
it's HBO, right? So HBO, they do these quality shows that feel like you're watching movies anyway. So it is, I'm not surprised. But yeah. Hey, here's a good question for all of you out there. I mean, I know, yes, this is a movie podcast, but what shows are you watching? I mean, it can't just be movies 24/7 all the time, right? There's some of us that love to indulge in some of the streaming shows and all that. Let us know in the comments what shows you're watching, or if you have any recommendations for us to check out on anything, because there's just so much damn content right now. It is ridiculous. I can't keep up at all.
The TV shows that movie lovers watch, to me, that's an interesting one because there's the TV
Yeah,
people and they watch crap that I'm like,
they'll
this
watch
would
anything.
never fly in a movie
Yeah,
theater. The acting is awful.
yeah,
But we're talking like a lot of like White Lotus, Barry, Better Call Saul,
yeah. Oh,
Succession.
Barry,
I understand.
yes. Oh, I've been watching Barry too. Oh my
Don't say
god.
anything. Don't say
No, I'm
anything.
not.
I'm kind of waiting till I can binge it because I know how I
Okay.
am with that show.
Yeah.
I just get into it and just eat it up.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Yeah.
but
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's an interesting side convo. Sometimes is the television that is of cinema quality and
Yeah.
isn't just like empty calorie
Mm-hmm.
content, but instead is like, oh, these are filmmakers who are making it like high quality TV
Yeah.
show, writing, acting, editing. Like Succession is shot on film, literally.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it's special. So I will soon have a hard void in my soul when that one ends.
You and a lot of people. Yeah.
It's an hour a week, and then it's 15 hours or so of podcasts afterwards. So like I'll have a lot of time. That's when I'll catch up on all the other shows people recommend. So definitely let us know
Yeah.
what shows you film lovers recommend. I'll need some recommendations soon.
Yeah. No, that'll definitely be like a good thing to find out because it is interesting. It'll be interesting to see like what, like you just said, people who are really into film, like cinephiles, people like yourself, like me. What shows are we more attracted to? Are we drawn to, and all that? And like I said, there's just so much damn content out there that, and so many damn streaming platforms too, that there could be so many things that we're missing out on. But time, if we only had so much time
Mm,
to
mm,
indulge in all this.
mm,
But with all that said, I did make time to see Polite
mhm,
Society,
mhm.
which is the movie we are talking about this week. It is a comedy adventure movie from Focus Features. It was directed by Nida Manzoor. I'll talk a little bit about what the synopsis is, at least what is said on Google. A martial artist in training believes she must save her older sister from her impending marriage. After enlisting the help of her friends, she tries to pull off the most ambitious of all wedding heists in the name of independence and sisterhood. Some of the performers in this movie is Ritu Arya, who many of you may will know from shows like The Umbrella Academy. I believe that's the one thing that I recognize her from the most, and I know she's done other things as well.
I have a
Uh,
story there, but we'll get to it in a second. Yes,
okay,
big
no,
fan of
awesome.
her work. Yeah.
Priya Kansara, who plays the main lead in this movie, the sister there. Nimra Busha, who is very well known in the Indian film community. Also, if you've watched Miss Marvel, she was definitely in that series as well. That's how I recognize her. And there's a whole bunch of other casting characters there. So I am actually going to hand this off to you first to talk about
Thank you.
Because I think out of the two of us, you were the one that was really most hyped about this movie. And I would love to hear your story about Ritu as well, because I know she is one of the actresses that you definitely do dig.
So I really liked her in Umbrella Academy, and
Yeah.
I binged that whole season. I think she was the second season was her season.
Yes.
I
Yep.
binged it
Mhm.
in one day. I'll do the little backstory, and that'll help give context for
Sure.
my feelings about this movie. But saw her in Umbrella Academy, went to her credits page and like looking for
Hmm.
anything she was in, and she hadn't been in much, especially at that time. There was a short film. Your boy loves a good short film, just
Oh
10
yeah.
minutes, full story. Oh, it's a funny one, and it was a British Muslim woman coming of age short film comedy punk rock thing. I was like, okay, these are like four of my favorite catchphrase keywords, and there's representation happening, and there's like this so anyway, I recommend it fully. It's called Lady Parts, and it ended up
Hmm.
becoming a Peacock TV show. But before that was even announced, it was right around COVID era with Umbrella Academy's second season, and so there was rumors of like, oh, they're going to turn this short film into a TV show,
Hmm.
but there was everything was just full pause. We might get an update 6 months from now. They were filming it at right before, so everything's up in the air. But I went and checked out the short film. It won some contest and was on Channel 4 in the UK, and I absolutely adored it. I thought it was funny, quick, loved the characters, and it was
Hmm.
only 14 minutes long. So what I noticed is I think it was on IMDb, but it was not on Letterboxd, and I like to log everything on Letterboxd. I was like, well, I saw this film, I need to log it.
Sure.
I'm a little compulsive about that. So I figured out, like, I went on the back end and figured out how to add things to Letterboxd. They use a different service other than IMDb that does all the back end, and then they get their data, posters, and cast and everything from that. So since then, I learned how to add things to that site. So then it would show up on Letterboxd, and it wasn't on there. And Ritu Arya, it's one of her first short films. It's the director of Polite Society,
Mm.
her short film, and that's why to me this was like something I was really excited about because it was actress who they'd worked together before. The director of that short
Yeah.
film, that director didn't have any other credits really, and so I added some of those cast members to the site. So the first time they ever showed up on Letterboxd was "You're welcome," thanks to me,
Mm.
and now
Hmm.
that and since the TV show came out on Peacock about a year ago, now the short film gets more traction, and every time I'll just
Sure.
check and be like, "Oh, I added this, and now it's got all these views." And for a long time, there was no ranking; people weren't finding it. But then after the Peacock show, just like the numbers went up. So
So I have a
anyway, I was
question. I
really
have a
excited about
question.
this director's first debut full-length feature film. What's up?
Yeah. When you add stuff like
Mhm.
that, does it credit you for adding it or no?
There's probably something on the back end that was like added by
Uh,
this user, but I don't even think it's not on Letterboxd. It doesn't have my name. I did log
okay.
it and was the first person and said like added this because I was such a big fan,
Right. Right.
something
Right.
like
Right.
that.
Gotcha. Okay.
Um, but that was part of my level of expectation going into it was like
Sure.
the amount of excitement I had about this director. And there was also the thing where there was this like pause on the show, and maybe nothing will ever happen. Maybe I'll never see anything of theirs again. And as someone who's a bit of a completist, I really wanted to like. Normally, I really fall in love with something. I just watch whatever I can, and then maybe times I'm like, oh, that was a fluke. They have one good movie, um, and the other stuff isn't all that. But I'll just keep watching their things essentially once I get on a roll. And in this case, that's why I was so excited. And there was also the thing where it was just hit pause for 2 or 3 years on the TV show, and then they
Hmm.
announced a movie, and I was super excited about this movie. Maybe, and we'll get to it. Maybe too excited.
Yeah, and I think it is definitely the expectation and hype that may have ruined it for me personally. Prior to us going live, what I was telling Blake was that for some reason I got into an algorithm where I was getting bombarded with ads for this movie. I was on Letterboxd, the ads would show up. I was on YouTube, every so often the trailer would play as an ad. When I go on Facebook, I would get hit up with their posts and their ad posts, their sponsored posts and all that. Same thing on Instagram, their whatever they do is it hits me there. So I just couldn't escape this movie whatsoever. And then, Blake was really hyped up about it, and he was telling me the same thing he just said right now about the director and redo and all that. So yeah, so I was definitely like, okay, this could be something. And then we went to see it, and well, it's a movie. Um, but I want to hear from you first, like when you finally had a chance. So I'll say this before I hand it off to you. I had a feeling I was in trouble because my theater that I go to, who normally does Thursday showings and screenings for big movies that are coming out that week, and I always tell you, oh, I saw a 3 p.m. showing on a Thursday or whatever.
Right.
This had no Thursday showings at all. So I had to wait till Friday first showing to see this movie.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're a Regal guy, right?
Yeah.
I'm not going to dox you, but it's been a big AMC thing where AMC even had the week before 1 p.m. or 7 p.m. on a Saturday. All the AMC theaters had it. Every AMC theater had a Thursday showing.
Gotcha.
I almost think Regal deprioritized it on that.
Probably. Yeah.
And also they're not sure. Maybe they're looking, they're like, the box office isn't going to be that good. It's going to be playing those AMC theaters. We're not going to have enough runoff, maybe. So
Right.
that's part of what was happening there. And it might even be an exclusive thing. Like AMC has the rights to show it for the week before and the Thursday something.
Yeah.
Because the way they're promoting this movie is interesting. You're right. I've heard other people talk about, like, I got a lot of ads. I was like, I sent you one text about this movie. This isn't even their genre of film. They're like,
yeah.
I don't think that the algorithm hit that hard. I think everybody's been getting ads for this one.
Okay.
And maybe it's a desperation thing, trying to get enough people out there, and they're you've seen that before. We just want to get our movie back, so we got to spend money on the ads because we don't know that the word of mouth will get there. Sometimes that's actually a bad sign when you see too many ads. And then sometimes on like you'll see, it used to be more IMDb, now it's like AMC or Letterboxd. Like they'll deprioritize it. So like AMC shows out now and on their app, and it'll be all these movies, and there's no list. It's just like, my guess is, and then sometimes the hot movie will be like 10th down. Right. I'm like, oh, it's because they don't need to put money on it. They know people are going to go see that. It's the first few that I'm a little more suspect about. Not always, but sometimes. So there's something about that lends credence to like how we feel about this movie, and maybe they knew what they had, and we're like, okay, we'll take an exclusive deal with AMC. We'll really push the ads on social media. Well, I don't know, but my guess is this one isn't going to do that well. That was a little bad foreshadowing, in my opinion.
Right.
There's also the one where you want to get word of mouth, and you got to get people there, and they trust that it'll take off from there. So that's another version of that. You see sometimes the indie movie that really pushes itself, and then they get enough butts and seats, and then the word of mouth takes it from there. They spend all their ad money just to get that first weekend going.
Yeah.
I don't know what the box office predictions are for this one. I saw it on a Friday night, 9:30 p.m. Not a great theater, a rainy night, a little later showing. So maybe the 7 p.m. one there's only like 2 showings in the evening at this theater. Each AMC kind of had 2 showings. This theater which made me think like, oh, this one might be packed, because all the people are like, oh, we're going to go see it Friday night. It was like 7 people in the theater, like one family and a couple groups of 2. Now, it's not the best AMC. It's the worst AMC theater. Oh, actually, I'm sorry. This one, I didn't even do AMC. I did an Angelica Village East situation. And it used to be a real crappy theater, and then Angelica bought it because it was a City Cinemas. And anyway, so maybe that's part of it. The main Angelica theater wasn't even playing it, which it says something too.
Really?
So I would think like this is the kind of movie I could see. Like what I told you, and this is how high my expectations were. I didn't say it was going to be as good as Everything Everywhere All at Once. I was like, it's giving me some vibes. It's giving me a little bit of, we've got some strong representation. We've got some action movie going on. We got some, like, I don't know what this kind of movie is. Highly imaginative, stylized, etc.
And plus, it's coming from a studio that really supports indie films. It's a major studio that supports it. Focus Features, if you know them, they support a lot of indie films. So you would think a place like Angelica, like the main Angelica, would show something like this. So I'm actually very surprised.
And so I'm not sure what's going on the business end of things. It would all just be conjecture. But basically, it's not good when there's only that few people and it's been advertised like crazy.
Yeah.
I was laughing at multiple parts. The rest of the theater seemed pretty dead. There's what I can't tell. It's possible this movie was made for not me. It's possible this movie was made for 15 to 19-year-old, maybe young women, maybe brown girls, like a certain group of people who are going to be hyped for this movie and are going to say,
Mhm.
oh, I see representation. This has messaging for me. This is inspirational in its way. I've been
Yeah.
going through this. And I saw it with someone else, and we both had similar reactions where it was like, maybe it wasn't for me, or maybe it was just bad. I didn't find it funny.
Mhm.
Neither of us found it funny. The action wasn't good. If the action had been good, I think I would have actually enjoyed this movie a lot. There were some moments I laughed out loud for sure. There were
Yeah.
some quirky character traits of the main actress, especially the main character. Some little funny moments with her friends, etc. It felt like well, I can't. It's one of those like we could talk a lot about like what's wrong with this movie, and
Mhm.
it's very possible it's just not for me. And there'll be a whole group of people who love it and word of mouth it, and it does decent.
Yeah.
It's also possible it felt like one of those like maybe the studio interfered a little too much, or you'll see times where a movie doesn't quite work, and it's because they try to do too many things, or they try to go lowest common denominator but do something kind of niche at the same time, or maybe they had certain rules. We're not going to show bloodshed, and there's only a
Mhm.
little bit of like actual violence in the movie, but there are also some pretty like dark parts too. We're not
Yeah.
going to do spoilers here. There's a whole mystery of like what's happening behind the scenes, and she's trying to solve what's happening. Um,
I mean, we
and there's a
could do
moment
spoilers
there.
if you want. I mean, not right now, but like after we give our
Yeah,
initial thoughts, we could just
for sure.
quickly talk about it. Yeah.
Um, it's it's possible. Another thing I was wondering about is if someone is there's a version of movies where this is meant for this demographic. This demographic will show the hell up, buy all the seats, and like I think of it like there's a lot of different groups like that. One of them is I came from the Bible Belt. Christian
Mhm.
folks, those movies can do gangbusters sometimes, and they've got a built-in box office. They
Yep.
go see that movie, and that's it. It doesn't have
Yep.
any impact on end of year box office numbers, awards. No one else is really taking it seriously, but they show up. And it's almost like a
Yeah.
we show up because we believe in the product, even if the product stinks kind of thing. Like that's a
Totally.
thing.
Totally. Yeah.
But
Like
also this
one of
movie,
the
yeah.
things we noticed, especially during the pandemic. I mean, we're still in it, but I mean when it was like really pandemic and
Yeah.
theaters were struggling, when a Christian movie came out, we knew, oh, that's gonna make a lot of money this weekend. And it always
Hmm.
did. It would like be like
Hmm.
number one, number two, whatever the case is. But we always said we have this running thing where you never doubt a Christian movie because that movie will always end
It's
up in
going to
the
make
top
its
five.
money back and a little
Yeah.
and some more,
Oh
no
yeah.
matter what. Every
Yeah.
time, no matter what, it'll always make its money back,
Yep.
no matter what.
Always. Always. Yeah.
Built-in audience. So I kind of thought maybe that would happen. That's kind of why I thought maybe the theater would be full and it might be a cool one to be at. There's, and I don't know, I can't speak because this is not my demographic, but it's possible that if a family who's a little more traditional, they might not like the messaging in this movie. Like,
Hmm.
I know that myself, growing up in the Bible Belt, there'd be like websites that are like, is this movie good? Does it have good Christian values? And it's possible if a family's more traditional to be like, oh, this has some anti-tradition messaging. There's some parts in it, which we can get to in spoiler stuff, where like it's kind of gross, like the girl's cursing at her parents, like I could see a parent saying, I'm not going to take my 14-year-old daughter to see that. And then she might find it when she's 18 and be like, yes, I love this movie. They get it, what I was going through 4 years ago. But
Hmm.
it's an interesting question there. And I honestly do not know on the business side of it, the audience, who it's really for at the end of the day. And if maybe it works for a certain group of people and maybe it works enough to do well and be successful in its own way. But for me personally, the things I'm looking for in a movie like this, it would need to be funnier. It would need to have better action. The dialogue, like there's plenty of times where it's like, okay, I think they're trying to be funny, but it was felt flat.
Yeah.
Um, there was not enough of anything special or pizzazz about it. There's a few things that are great about it. There's some good acting performances. The costuming was, in my opinion, phenomenal. For all I know, there's think pieces going on somewhere about how it's not good enough at representation or they did the miscasting. I did not read into think pieces on this one. From my eyes and my limited perspective, costuming was great. There was some good directing going on. The actual plot, I think, is a pretty solid. Like there's a version of this where it's a really clever and well done. Like we're not too far from Get Out type of territory. But imagine if
Hmm.
Get Out was afraid of being scary, you know what I mean, or afraid of
Hmm.
being too intense. Like it was a bit
Yeah.
watered down in that. Some of the sets were gorgeous. The friend dynamic, I got a little bit of turning red in there, where it's like the group of girls trying
Good
to get to
call.
the bottom of the
Good
thing,
call. Yeah.
and they're having their like cute dynamic.
Yep.
I really like that, and Lady Parts was
Yep.
good at that too. But overall, it did get me. I'm not going to say what the ending was, but there's something that happens near the end where it got me, and like I actually cried in the theater. Like I laughed enough, and I cried at some point where it's essentially like a message of believe in yourself,
Yep.
of don't let other people hold you back, follow your dreams, kind of message at the core of it. That one hit me. I don't know why. There was something about. There's a couple times where people were doubting her, and I was like feeling it. Like, oh no,
Mm.
she's an outsider in her way. So I actually, at the end of the day, did like the movie overall. I think I gave it a 3.5, or I maybe even over ranked it on Letterboxd just on some like I want to give this thing some love, but like 3 to 4, something like that on Letterboxd. My real feeling is 3.5 area, and probably closer to 3. But there were things about it that did work, and I hope this director gets another chance to do something as good as how I felt about that. And I've shown that 14-minute short film to plenty. Like you're just hanging
Mm.
out watching movies. Oh, we don't have time for a full movie. Throw it on. I've had multiple people like, "Holy shit, that was amazing! Who is this person? What else have they made?" Kind of like it is really, really good. This director is capable of making something really good. I don't know if it was not a big enough budget, too big of a budget. They had certain deadlines. It felt like there was some filler in there. They're kind of like it wasn't dense enough in the quality, but there were definitely moments of quality. And I hope this director gets another chance. And I hope
Mm-hmm.
more movies like this are made. I hope it's successful. It just, for me personally, it wasn't. I'm
Right.
guessing similar for you.
Yeah. Yeah. It's funny because like you're talking about the director and how they made a splash with their short film, right? Which is what directors try to do to get their names out there and to see what they're capable of doing. If they're lucky enough, they will team up with an actress that either becomes well known or is already semi well known, and it helps them get the word out and all that. Then when it comes to their first feature film, maybe the pressures of pleasing a more generic audience sets in, and I feel like maybe this may have happened to this director because there was one thing that I was picking up on, or I felt as I was watching this movie. I kept telling myself, this all feels very familiar to me. Like, I feel like I've seen this movie before. And then the more I watch it, the more I'm realizing, oh, it's because there are a lot of nods and reuses of things that happened in other movies that I watched growing up. Like especially like in the 90s and the early 2000s, it reminded me of a lot of those kind of, hey, there's this situation with my sister or my brother, and I gotta come to the bottom of it. And then I have my quirky friends that are all nerdy, and we're into a certain thing, and like, hey, we're gonna use our knowledge of what we're quirky and into to help solve this mystery. And it's like these girls are all film nerds, right? And action film nerds. So they use that mentality to like, oh, we have to infiltrate this or do this and do that because this is what we're used to. So I felt like I've seen all of this stuff before. And they reuse a lot of the same similar tropes that you see in these type of movies too. Like, oh, if we're gonna have to investigate something, we have to be in disguise, and we're gonna dress up like against the norm. So if I'm a girl, I have to dress up like a guy to get into like a guy's area or whatever the case is, and it just seemed very familiar.
To me, that scene actually was the hardest. I laughed because it was so ridiculous.
Sure,
And there's
yeah,
definitely a strong feminist message under this movie. We'll
yeah,
get to it in a second, but like, especially when we get to spoilers, but like, I have like a little like, this is what the movie meant and what was successful about it. I think that was
yeah,
actually good. And there was some fun humor there. But you're right. It's almost got like that Stranger Things. We got to get the group of teens together to solve the mystery.
kind
Like,
of, yeah.
I'm still not too familiar with Goonies. Don't hate me, 80s T people,
No,
but
it's fine.
um,
No,
we're talking about a similar, like we got to solve the mystery and get the group
yeah,
together and use our weird skill sets, even though we're teens or young people, whatever, right? Like we got a blackboard and we're writing out the plan on it.
yeah, exactly,
Moments.
yeah.
I see what you're saying. Okay, yeah,
Yeah,
you're right.
it's like if you go back into movies that are aimed towards teenagers and there's always some like mystery plot, or there's always we got to get to the bottom of something plot. You will see very similar situations and tropes involved in it. I would even go back to, like, for example, movies like Austin Powers or Zoolander, and the time where they're kind of like, yeah, infiltrating an area or whatever the case is. They
Hmm.
always have that type of comedy. And I felt
Hmm.
like this had very similar types of comedy that they were trying to regurgitate or reuse. Sometimes it was successful and sometimes it wasn't. Like sometimes it was very painful to see what they were trying to do. So basically, what I said in my Letterboxd review was, I felt like I am no longer this generation for movies like this. This felt like it was a movie that it's kind of trapped in a different time period, or this was really geared more towards the Disney Channel original movie kind of crowd, because it felt very Disney Channel original movie like.
Yeah.
And I feel like if this was shown on a Disney Channel, or if this was shown on a streaming service, then I could already see like the younger generation. I don't even know what generation you call them in now, like the mid 20s or whatever the case is. That is really geared towards these people, and I feel like they're the ones that will get a good chuckle out of it. They will like find the messaging like very empowering and all that. And I'm not saying that it's not. It's just for me, I am so past this point of that type of stuff. And there was just a lot of things like the things that I did like about it was the chemistry with the friends. I did like that because I thought that was actually very cute and it was very charming. And I loved how they were so like supportive of each other. And I thought that was really, but again, it's stuff that we've seen before. It's also a reused thing where one of the persons does something that every other friends hate. There's a falling out, and then that person needs them to really help them out. Like, you guys don't understand. I need you guys, and I'm so sorry. Like, okay,
Yeah.
we're gonna help you out because we're friends and
Yeah.
all. So it just felt so familiar and everything. I did love the performance of Nimra Busha, who plays the mom, the evil mom in the movie. She
Great
was
work there.
fantastic. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, and again, I'm used to her because I've already seen her perform in Miss Marvel, and she was fantastic in that series too. So I was expecting that same level, and I got that. So I thought that was really, really awesome to see. But yeah, other than that, to be quite honest with you, and maybe this will be a very unpopular opinion, but I didn't like the main character of played by Priya. I thought she was very annoying. To be honest with
The
you,
character itself, not the acting. That's what you're
the
saying?
character, no, the character,
Okay.
yeah, yeah,
Okay.
and for
Hmm.
movies like this, I have to be behind the character, right, to be invested. I did not like this character one bit. I thought the acting, she did what she had to do. She played that kind of energetic, angsty, you know, teen who's trying to go against the grain and who is like really big into follow your dreams and this is my passion and all that. Like I love that all of that. But I think overall as a personality of the character, I did not like her at all. Um and the chemistry with the sister I thought was okay. It seemed just very cookie cutter ish in a way, and another movie that kept popping into mind is Bend It Like Beckham, which is almost
Mm-hmm.
similar tones where you have one girl who has this passion. Family is against that because of their religion or what they're accustomed to doing. And she wants to go against that. And then it had a very similar ending in a way where things work out and then whatever this person, like the person that she pines over as far as her inspiration, gets like a nod or a mention and like, oh my god, this is the best thing ever. It just felt so similar to all of that stuff, and we'll go more into what that means like in the spoiler portion of it. But yeah, at the end of the day, I gave the movie 2 stars on Letterboxd. And I specifically said this movie was just not meant for me, and that's what I'm judging it on. So if I was in my 20s, maybe this movie would be better for me. If I was watching it with someone in their 20s and I saw their reaction of the movie, then maybe I will understand it more. But as of right now, it just wasn't for me. And it was really sad too, because I saw it. It was like first showing on a Friday. There were, I believe, two other people in the theater with me, one of which left with
Mm,
20 minutes more of the movie to go.
mm.
Just
Oh
walked
no.
out. And I
Oh
was just
no.
like, oh man, that's terrible. That's awful. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah. So at the end of the day, it's a movie. It is what it is. And if anything, if what I'm hoping, I never want anyone to fail. You know, especially if the director has this keen eye and did something that you found very well done. If anything, I hope that when this movie hits streaming, that's when more eyes are going to go on it, and maybe more people are
Right.
going to actually enjoy a movie like this. But to spend money in a theater, it may not be, it may not be worth it.
And I could almost see it having a better streaming life too. If
Yeah,
you kind of like we were talking about, like if you are 14, 15, 16, and your folks are like, you're not going to go see this kind of thing, like it
yeah,
comes out on streaming, it's pretty easy to sneak something on Netflix, much
yeah.
better. Or for all I know, I'm missing something, and like it could be really popular amongst
Sure.
teens. Like it
Yeah,
is possible I'm out of touch enough. What I was hoping though, my expectations going into it were similar to how I felt about that short film, where that demographic might love it, and also just the general cinephile fan person would love it. Kind of like there's a version of Everything Everywhere All at Once where it's a niche audience and it doesn't do that well, and it doesn't, cross over. And
yeah,
yet it was like every group of people more or less was into it, other than a couple like the stray haters.
yeah.
But this one didn't have the. I was hoping this one would have the like cinephiles also love this
Sure.
thing, or general fans, people who just want an action movie are going to enjoy it. But yeah, it was definitely, it's kind of, you're talking about the Disney Channel movie vibe, and it almost kind of reminds me of like the Marvel TV shows,
Yeah, yeah,
Hawkeye, like
yeah.
similarly inoffensive,
Hmm.
um, good messaging. I don't, I did not enjoy that. So anyway, overall, it worked on me on enough levels. I could see it being successful. I think now there's not too much else to say about this movie. I don't think
No,
we're not going to Beau is Afraid this thing where we just talk about theories for
no,
45
no,
minutes.
there's nothing not necessary.
So are you cool if we go into spoiler territory now?
Yeah, yeah, let's do
Yeah.
it. Yeah,
Um, Basically the thing I was talking about earlier, and what kind of threw me about the movie is it was like inoffensive and it wasn't doing much violence, and the fight scenes were real. Like if you explain to me why this person's able to float in midair in any way, she's in her
hmm,
imagination, she has this power, she uses her
yeah,
beliefs, like anything. But there was some fight scenes that were very hyper unrealistic, and
yeah,
yet not good action. Like they didn't seem believable. The cuts weren't that good.
hmm,
I think this might be this director's first time doing action in this kind of way. It's almost like maybe you need an action director to do some of those
right,
scenes.
right, yeah,
Um, so but there was something where it's like, okay, this is a teen movie, and they're trying to like not show violence so that they get that PG-13 rating, whatever. But then there's a scene where it's like really creepy horror movie kind of stuff, kind of like Get
hmm.
Out. There's a secret lab and they're doing testing, and like there's some Frankenstein's monster stuff going on, and like the
The whole
underlying messaging.
the computer imaging of like the uteruses of all the female. That's actually kind of
We had some
funny.
Charlie's Angels level special effects going
Yes,
on too.
thank you. Yes, yes,
And that felt a little corny, but also like terrifying in its
yeah,
own way. It's not really, it doesn't become a horror movie, but like if you think a little bit about what's happening down there, I'm like, are there women, are there corpses, or is there gonna be like morgue with living women, like he's testing on them? And like
yeah.
suspense was pretty high in that moment. And like, oh, this movie just took a turn, and it kind of does. That's the moment where the movie takes a turn. Before that, I thought, and this is a version of the movie I like also, that's not hardcore action mystery mindfuck movie. It's more like a story about a girl accepting that her sister is moving on, and that her
Yep.
sister's dreams aren't going to come true, and the things that she believed about we can be whatever we want isn't coming true, and her sister settles down. And like there's a version of that movie that's a really sweet, lovely family drama kind of thing, and it looks like it's going to be an action movie, but then nothing really happens, and she just thinks that there's a story. I think there's a very successful version of that movie here too, where there's
Definitely.
not
Yeah.
some bizarre conspiracy happening.
Hmm.
But what happened before in the movie is all her friends are starting to disbelieve her
Hmm.
of, oh, I think you just really don't want your sister to move out and get married and whatever. And
Yeah.
understandable, sure. But she takes it too far at some point, and then people stop believing her. And then she comes back and goes, there's a crazy secret lab. And she gets shut down. And
Yeah.
there's a threat she's going to get locked away, which is part of when I felt sympathy for her character. I got like a, no one believes you. Like, that's one of my biggest nightmares. Like, everyone thinks you're crazy and you're actually correct. And like, the spy movie version of that, of now you can't tell anybody and you're on your own and your family
Yep.
turns their back on you. Like, that's pretty dark. But then after that, we also we as the audience are going like, oh no, there is something weird going on here. And even then I thought like maybe some of it's an imagination. Maybe the guy's just really wants to make sure that that his next wife has a healthy baby, and he's a doctor who's doing uh, women's health.
He's like a
And
geneticist. Yeah.
yeah, maybe he's just a good dude, and he's got a lab that looks creepy if you're looking at it in the wrong lens. There's a version of that movie where it's kind of, not quite a mind fuck, but it's like a little sleight of hand
Sure.
thing. But overall, and then there's also the one where there's a lot nowadays, especially since Get Out, of political messaging horror movies, and that's kind of like what horror has been. And there's that going on in the undertones of this movie. At the end of the day, I think there's a narrative of what I was talking about earlier that got me choked up, of like believing women and believing in women, and a teenage woman trying to find herself and believing in herself. And there's a thing at the end where after everyone believes in her, she's going to do her thing, her kick video that she's been trying to get right, and then she finally gets it right, and the sky resounds with the thunder,
Hmm.
and the universe aligns when she fully is in her own power. There's something really beautiful about that. And then I think it was right before, or right after, her hero that she's been trying to get in touch with, the greatest stunt woman ever, gets in touch with her immediately
Yeah.
after. And there's something really beautiful about that message. Also, I don't know if you noticed this in the credits, but the stunt woman played herself, so it's an actual stunt woman.
Yeah. 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 And she's a real stunt woman. Yeah. That's
I
why.
had
That's
not heard
why.
of her before. That would have made it a little better, I think, if I'd known that that was real and not just
Yeah.
some fictional thing. Okay,
Yeah. That's why I
you
make
were
the
aware of that person.
comparisons. Yeah, I was. Yeah. Yeah. And that's why I made the comparisons to Bend It Like Beckham, because again, it's like
Okay,
the main character idolizes Beckham. Everything works out at the end, and then at the end she gets to see Beckham walking in the airport. Here it's like,
right.
everything works out at the end, and now she gets a call back from her idol, or an email, and say, hey, let's do brunch, or whatever the case is. So
Yeah, it's
those
cute.
are the similarities. I was just like, oh my gosh, it's just like this.
The other messaging here, and I don't think they leaned into it hard enough, or something about it's a little off. But basically, there's this thing where, and there's a culture, there's a version of it that's specific to each culture, but I'm going to speak
Hmm.
more generally. This is kind of like the horror here is a metaphor of what actually happens in real life, where a woman is chosen, she's kind of brainwashed, she's becoming a different version of herself, and her younger feminist sister who's not interested in dating is like, what are you doing? You're changing. We had this little thing going on, we were best friends, and then now you are changing and moving out. And then the society's expectations kick in. And at the wedding scene, when all the people turn on her and her sister, like, they didn't feel realistic, because at that point it felt pretty clear this mom and son are pretty messed up, and yet the whole
Yeah.
wedding party still turns on. So there's something where there's a metaphor there of, we have these expectations of you and that pressure. And then there's another one where the son is super in love with the mom, and he's a mama's boy, and he just wants to. There's something else that happens in marriage where the son in Arrested Development is just looking for a new mother, and he wants a
Right.
wife who will clean up after him and tuck him in at
Yeah.
night and all that stuff. There's something else there that they also didn't fully go with, because of how they treated the. I thought they were gonna, and I'm actually now I'm maybe I'm getting it wrong, but they're essentially cloning the mom in the daughter. I thought there was a version where they were going to do a body switch thing where the mom would go into Ritu Arya's body, like Get Out
Oh, like a
or
like a like a
Frankenstein
like a
kind of
mind
thing.
transfer
And like,
kind
I
of
will
thing,
now
right?
finally be able to marry my
Yeah.
mom and it won't be weird, or something like that. Like,
Right,
there's a
right,
version of
right, right.
that where they lean
Yeah.
into that. And I think that that's also in a way more successful and creepy, but it's probably not as, teenage friendly or whatever.
Right.
But
Yeah.
anyway, these are kind of some of the messages that we're dealing with in this movie, and off of the short film and lady parts and the teen, I think she's a teenager, that one, at least young adult. Parents are trying to marry her off.
Mhm.
She has a crush on this other boy. Her friends are in this punk band and she makes friends with them. And music, she's not even supposed to make music, according to one of the guys who's trying to date her. He says music,
Mhm.
it's haram. Um, there's so I think this director has good political messaging in the movies, and I don't, unless I'm just missing some of it, I don't think it was fully successful in getting those across the way that some other movies are, to where you leave
Mhm.
it and like, oh, I see the world in a new way, kind of thing. But
Yeah.
they were definitely, there were undertones at least all throughout it. And if you want there to be a message, and if you're a girl who relates to the main character, this might be a very powerful movie. You know.
Yeah. No, for sure. And I think that's, again, since neither you and I are that, then of course it's not going to hit us that way, you know. So it would be really interesting to hear from someone within that age range, you know, dealing with similar stuff, because we know that is a real struggle, you know, especially with the new generation, to go through that. One of the things, and to go along with what you said, like how I didn't feel their main impact in similar movies in the past, the parents are a little bit more strict, you know, so
Mhm.
you really feel the impact of, no, you're really not supposed to do this, or you're really not supposed to follow this route. And we got that in similar movies. In this one, it was almost like the mom was like a hip mom. You know, she would say certain things that were kind of hip, or, you know, and then at the same time, she wanted to really get in with the cool crowd. So she was willing to be like, oh, that's nothing, or whatever, you know, da da da, this and that. And the dad was just like, you know, whatever, this kind of like silent presence, or just going along with the flow. But yeah, to also touch on the action scenes too, I thought it would have been cool if they made it so that what we saw was just an imagination
Sure.
of what she, because she's such into those
Scott Pilgrim
action
style,
movies,
kind of.
right?
There's a
That
version of this in Scott Pilgrim that is very successful.
absolutely, but make it known that no, this is not exactly what transpired, but in my mind, this is what transpired, because I'm like a big action movie fan, and to the point where we have our stare down and we're doing like all
Mhm.
this crazy stuff. You know, then that would have made it a better, I think, a better creative choice. But here they made it as if this, no, this is all reality. This is all happening.
Yeah, it's
The
a good
crazy fight
point.
at school, the crazy fight with the mom, and all that. You know, it's just so out of nowhere. The sister fight that became like this all out brawl, like in it was
Weirdly
just
violent
like,
out of nowhere compared to the
yeah.
other fights. And they're just gonna go to the dinner table and they're like bleeding out. Like, you're right.
Yeah, like
If the original cut was that, and then this they did some testing and then they changed it to like, oh no, that's too imaginative and people didn't get it. Like, there's a version of the movie that is more successful. And
Mhm.
maybe, like, looking back at it, there's some heavy hand in the editing room, it feels like, that chopped it up a little too much. I wouldn't be shocked if that's like the draft of the movie that the director wanted, because there's a couple of scenes where it's like, okay, this is extreme and almost ridiculous how
Yeah.
actiony it is, and yet at the end cut, there's like nothing is really happening. There's
Mhm.
no real violence, and but then there's moments of like, oh my god, this is hardcore.
Yeah.
If you told me that the director wanted to do a hardcore version, but then the studio said, well, it has to have this rating, or we get final cut after testing it, or an audience has said we don't get it, or we didn't like there's something like that,
Mhm.
um, possibly happening with this movie and why it's not a full out success. Um,
Full out success
I
for
like
us,
that
at
version of
least.
it. Right, right, yeah, across
Yeah.
all demographics, like a crossover success.
Yeah.
Um, there's a version of the movie that's, yeah, Scott Pilgrim. So it's like you stand up to your bully, but in real life, you kind of
Right.
just like tell them, "Don't leave me alone," and then
Right.
they respect you or something or whatever. It's just like more of like an inner fight
Yep.
happening for independence and individuality. So like you're not actually fighting your mom, you're just setting boundaries. But the way it looks in the Scott Pilgrim kind of way is like
Yep.
you do a full fight scene and like
Yeah.
very over the top, but it's a metaphor for what you're actually going through as you individuate or set up, respect yourself more. And um I like that version of the movie better too, I think, because then
Yeah.
at least the action doesn't have to work in the way that this movie was showing. Like this is realistic. Like it didn't. None of the fight scenes felt very realistic to
No.
me at
No.
all.
And like you said, like a lot of the things that happened during those fight scenes were so out of nowhere. And
Hmm.
it like it really changes tones like so quickly.
Hmm.
Yeah, but if it was like one like what we were talking about, if it was like an imaginative thing, then it's like
Yeah,
it's
makes more
easy to
sense.
explain all of that stuff. Like
Yeah.
and I like to go back to the sister fight because it's like all of a sudden it like the sister was just out for blood. Like, I told you to stay out of my life. Like to the point where
Smashing
I'm
her
gonna
head
kill
into the
you.
family
Yeah.
photo multiple
Yeah.
times. Like, you can go blind.
Yeah. It was just so
There should be,
ridiculous.
and there's like a couple
Yeah.
nosebleeds in there, but I don't know
Right.
that we ever saw like blood splatter, right?
No.
Which I'm not asking for full
No.
Tarantino, but it's not punch, and
No.
then
No.
it was all after effect, which I think is a way to keep
Hmm.
the rating down or at
Yeah.
least more family friendly.
No, for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, it does feel like again, maybe this director had one thing in mind, but it's the pressure of making a movie that's more acceptable to a more general wide audience, right? And they get kind of handcuffed a bit. If this director was doing a movie that was maybe, you know, understanding the type of audience you do want to hit, then maybe there will be more freedoms and more things that are done where we could have possibly gotten something a lot cooler and a lot more digestible across the board for all generations and all that. But at the end of the day, we got like this teen focused type of movie that for people like you and I was
Yeah.
just didn't hit right, so
We've seen it in different ways where someone has a short film success that doesn't translate, or sometimes folks will have a first movie that's not actually that good or
yeah,
isn't indicative of the rest of their career. I'm
yeah.
curious with some members of the cast on the director themselves. I'm hopeful that they get another chance, and this is one of those flukes. Like I'm thinking, this is a quick aside. Like Amy Winehouse's first album, the studio changed it so much, and it was not the sound she wanted. And it's her second album, Back to Black, and she's like, "That's the sound I wanted," and
Mm-hmm.
that's the hot album. I'm also thinking of Anna Lily Armpour, who directed Girl Walks Home Alone at Night. It was an indie movie, hugely successful, at least for like the indie movie standards. Beloved critically, has made 2 feature films since and have not done well at all, and have felt, but kind of got herself that wiggle room to make what she wanted, and then it didn't do very well. We've
Right.
seen different trajectories. So the director, I don't know what's next for them. I am curious. We do know, and I don't know if you want to segue over into our little game, but like Ritu Arya is in the new Barbie movie, so we
That
know. I
is
think her
right.
career might be on the up and up. I might be willing to bet on the Ritu Arya of it all,
Oh yeah,
even if this was a possible like one step backwards.
no, for sure. Ritu is definitely a star, and
He
she
has
she
it.
she has the it, yeah. Because again, when you saw her on Umbrella Academy, you were like, whoa, like that is a presence. And if we were to talk about pure acting performances, she is definitely one of the strongest ones in this
Hmm.
movie. It's like her
Yeah.
and Nimra. But again, these are two people who have that experience. What I'm curious about is when this movie was actually filmed, because this could also be one of those movies where maybe this was filmed a while ago and it's kind of been like just in the bucket for this long time. They're like, oh, why don't we just finally release this now? It's always curious and interesting to find those things out. But yeah, Ritu is going to be in Barbie, and yeah, I'm sure there's going to be a lot of bright things for her moving forward. But before we get into our next segment, let us know in the comments. Again, is Polite Society the type of movie that you were interested in? Maybe you already saw it. Let us know your thoughts and feelings about that movie. If either you saw it or you were thinking about it, or maybe you had no interest, we're definitely curious to hear all your thoughts about that movie. Again, for us, we're not saying it was a bad movie for in general, but for us, it was a bad movie. But again, we are not maybe that demographic this movie was really aimed for. You know,
Hold on. This might be more correct. We might be the two haters. Rotten Tomato has 91%.
really?
Metacritic 75, which for Metacritic, just that's good. Like that is pretty damn like that's a green in their world. And then now I'm going to pull it up on Letterboxd. I'm guessing it will be 3.7. People are not hating this movie. I'm looking at
Huh.
reviews and like there's a couple. One of them says it pulls its punches, and I was like, "Yep, that's how it felt for me."
Okay.
There's plenty of reviews that are like Sundance surprise hit is like talking about how compelling it is. A teen action comedy that kicks so much ass. Maybe I just had too high of expectations. I should have started the conversation with this context because that's
Maybe.
interesting. There might
Maybe.
be people who are just like, "What is wrong with these idiots? They didn't get it."
But you know what?
Um,
That'll be interesting to know too. Again, if
yes,
this was a movie that you're so high on and you think all our takes are dong takes and all that, let us know. Flame us. Go ahead. Let us know what it is about the movie that hit you, and that made it really great for you. Because it is one of those rare times where you and I we agree on a feeling of a movie that is so
yeah,
opposite of what is out there. The opinion is out there. So we're curious. What did we miss? Because
yeah. I want to know
maybe it
why.
is.
Like, if I, especially if I said something factually incorrect, definitely let
Yeah,
us know. But also in general, like, what of those takes was, oh, here's what you missed, here's what you didn't get,
yeah,
kind of thing. And that I I I really wanted to like this movie. I did overall. Again, I liked it. Like it has a 4 on Letterboxd for me right now.
okay,
And I gave it a little bit of like extra love more than I actually
okay,
liked it. It's a 3 to 3.5 for me for sure. I liked it enough. Like there was parts of it that were effective, but overall, maybe expectations were too high, and maybe it's just like
yeah,
I'm outside of that demographic, and also that's okay.
yeah,
Um, but if I'm missing something, I definitely want to know that. Like if there's a like, oh, here's the like when you were talking about the like, oh, these were actually the fight scenes are actually in her imagination. I was like, that actually makes more sense. Did I miss something where they like explained that early on? Like, is it the British humor? And I just was expecting something a little bit more raucous. Like tonally, am I missing something? Like, yeah, I am genuinely curious. I want to talk to someone who loved this movie, and I want them to tell me I'm
yeah,
wrong. And I hope I'm wrong,
yeah.
genuinely.
No, we would love to hear from people who love this movie for sure. Because again, like you mentioned, like, is it a British thing? Well, I loved movies like Shaun of the Dead, Hot Fuzz, like those type of movies. So it can't be that, there is British humor that I understand and I get. I just feel like a lot of this humor just wasn't funny, and I don't know, let us know, because there could be something that maybe it's in the water, or maybe this is one of those situations where over advertising and over promoting something didn't work on me or didn't work on Blake, because I just it was so much in my face that maybe I was expecting more than what I got, and then maybe if I went into this movie completely blind, maybe just heard like a one line synopsis, or maybe I just saw a quick trailer, a teaser trailer, and then I decided to go watch this. Maybe my reaction would have been different. I don't know, but it happens. So you get what you get. But yeah, another great time to also remind you guys that if you don't mind our dong takes, even though you may love this movie or not, and you just want to see more of us, all you have to do is don't forget, hit that like button, subscribe, notification bell to get notified every time a new video is posted. If you want Lowkey Geek on the go, check out Lowkey Geek on your podcast platform of choice. We're going to find audio versions of what we do here for your downloading and listening pleasure. And another great reminder that if you are in a position to help support the channel and help the channel grow, definitely check out the affiliates in the description of this episode, where you could possibly find something cool for yourself or for a loved one. And by participating, you will be helping support this channel at no additional cost to all of you out there. So again, we are very thankful for all the support that we get. So are we
Yes.
ready to play our game?
You are ready to explain the game. I need to step
Yeah.
away for 1 second. I'm gonna leave my
Okay.
mic on so I can hear it just to make sure I get all the rules because I'm gonna
No
have to kick
problem.
your ass. I take this very seriously. Yeah, I'll be right back.
Okay, you got
Feel
it.
free to keep
All
going.
right. Yeah. So this is gonna be the 2023 summer movie blockbuster draft. This will be an annual thing that the Movie Time crew, the Movie Bros, that's me and Blake, will be doing. And what we are doing here is that we are taking all the summer movie releases. And when I say summer, I'm starting from May 1st to a week after Labor Day. I think that's like a safe zone there for summer movies that are coming out. And we are going to do a draft. So we are going to use a random number generator to determine who picks first. And just like a normal draft, whether it's in sports or whatever the case is, each of us will take turns in drafting 10 movies. Whatever movie is in our list, we will monitor box office numbers all throughout the summer. And at the end of the summer, whoever's list has the majority of the box office numbers, meaning the highest grossing numbers, that person will be the winner of the 2023 summer movie blockbuster draft. So that is basically the whole idea and thing behind this whole list. So what you will see, I'm going to show and share my screen right now. These are the list of all the movies that are coming out this summer. There's a lot of them. And, based out of like what we've been hearing from CinemaCon and all that stuff, a lot of these studios are extremely hyped for this summer because it's going to be one of the first times in a while that we are going to have that sense of a summer movie blockbuster season. Now, we kind of felt it a little bit last year, but this is really going full on this year. And if you don't know anything about CinemaCon is one of the annual conventions that is really geared towards the cinema industry. So people who are attending these conventions are all the cinema owners, the chain owners, the mom and pop owners, and all that. So it's really the time for studios to really promote their stuff to these owners, make them happy and excited for what's to be hitting their screens this year. And there's a lot of like hype and a lot of talk about all the stuff that's happening. So with that being said, Blake, are you all clear on the rules?
I am clear on the rules.
Okay.
I don't love them. I wish we were doing profit, like box office minus cost, because that gets rid of some of the like Fast X stuff, or it devalues them. I also kind of wish we were doing a side category, which I will be doing.
Okay.
Of it's not official. The goal is box office, but I want to do one that is like a ratings or reviews or critical acclaim thing, because this is your territory and you're asking me to fight on your territory right now. I don't love it. You're the box office blockbuster lover guy, and I also do. I'm gonna love most of these movies and go see them for sure, but I won't have Top Gun at the end of my end of year list, at the top of my end of year list, as you will. And in this case, Mission Impossible or whatever else. There's going to be a couple here that are really for me, but for the most part, this is your turf. So maybe at some point, maybe what we do around closer to November, December, we do the Oscar prediction box office,
which is perfectly fine.
The draft that could be fun, or like which of these are actually going to be good, or versus which are Oscar bait that are kind of bad. That's a fun one also. But I'm with it. I think I can hang. But I'm currently, if I were betting, I would bet on you to defeat me. So if I have some real dumb thing, it's because I'm not in this world the way you are. And if you're like, well, obviously that movie isn't going to make money. The actor dropped out at the last minute. The last one made half of the originals of the IP franchise. I don't know. That's very, very possible. But I'm informed enough. I feel like I got some good opinions. I'm going through the list.
Yeah, I mean the thing is like so one thing that Blake and I love to do is that we play that the blockbuster game, the box office game, created by the podcast The Blank Check, right?
Oh, yeah.
And that basically every day it generates a random date in history, and what you're supposed to guess is pretty much who was the top 5 movies during that time, right? It's based off of gross income take in whatever the case is. So we play that enough, and we follow movies enough that I think this would be a pretty fair assessment from both of us, as just based off of franchise, who's involved, and all that. And the one great thing is that out of every summer year, there aren't 20 huge blockbuster movies that are expected to make tons of money. There's maybe 5 or 6. So we're going to run out of those really quick. And now it comes down to, okay, what secondary and tertiary movies can help contribute to the overall numbers of our list, And that's where kind of like the guessing game can fall into. Because, one movie could have a successful first weekend and then completely tank the weekend after. So that's I think where the excitement's going to come in. But yeah, so with that all that being said, are you ready to see who is going to go first?
Yes. And it should be me if the fates are aligned because I need a little leg up.
All right. So let me pull up random number generator here. Now, do you want to do the even odds or do you want to just choose from 1 to 20, someone picks a number and whoever's closest?
I just want whichever one's going to win. So just you choose as long as I get the winning one.
All right, let's do even odds then. All right. So I'm even your odds. How about that?
Okay, fair. Yeah.
All right. Here we go. And look at that. 9 odds. So you get to pick first.
Hey, okay. I was not expecting that. And thank you for as your buddy. I really appreciate you.
Yeah.
Stacking the deck for me. You know
No
that I needed the
problem.
extra help. The main thing I'm not sure about that I think you're going to be better at is the more of like the sleeper hit. Like when Spider-Verse came out, the first one, I'm looking at Spider-Verse now, which is on this list.
Mhm.
When the first one came out, I don't know that I would have predicted it would have been a word of mouth, spread like
Sure.
wildfire, do gangbusters movie. So I think
Yeah.
you're going to be good at, oh, this is the one that is barely on Blake's radar, but it's actually going to do really well for whatever reason. I've looked over a couple lists of predictions, but also those are so all over the place.
Yeah.
It's hard to really know how well any movie is going to do. There's the version where it's like, oh, this is Jurassic Park successful and it does good money, or even like great money, but it's not actually good, so it doesn't go all the way. Then there's the time where it's like Top Gun sequel, and it's just like #2 movie of all time kind of stuff.
I feel like you're stalling. But
Well,
but
I'm
other than
stalling.
yeah, yeah. But the thing is, like, I'll say this. Look, it's all most of the time whenever I say something, like for example, Top Gun Maverick, how I said that was going to be the #1 movie of that year. That was more of a gut feeling for me because I just love the Top Gun franchise. And I feel like this, if you read the landscape, people are really huge into nostalgia, right? And I feel like if the movie hits right, then that movie is going to gel with so many people. So that was just like my gut feeling of that time. When the first Spider-Man came out, Into the Spider-Verse, I knew it was going to be a good movie. I did not know it was going to do what it did, because again, it's also animation too, which I know a lot of people don't like animation. But then after I saw it, then yeah, I said immediately, oh, this is going to be something special. So it's just sometimes it's just gut and reading the landscape of what's out there right now. So that being said, you're on the clock.
So
So
I'm out of stalling time limit.
yeah,
Okay.
what is your first pick in our first ever 2023 movie time summer movie blockbuster draft?
So I am going to take your legs out from under you, so to speak. There's a movie that I think will be more successful, but I want to take this one from you, Guardians,
Okay.
Volume 3.
Oh, you know me very well. Okay, yep.
There's one website that predicts it to make like 0.1 billion less than another
Yep.
movie, which I won't mention because you might pick that one next. But so it's probably won't be as successful. And I'm also nervous. We're not going to do a ton of talking about these, but like one or couple bullet points. I'm nervous because Marvel has not been doing so hot in the last like chunk of movies. We've
Yeah.
talked about that plenty. If this is floppy at all, it might be ugly. And so, but I do think Guardians, I think this one will be either like a last gasp for Marvel. It might be a breath of fresh air into the franchise, a new lease. But I'm skeptical enough of it. I don't think this is a smart first pick, but I did want to take it from you. I'm sticking with
Yeah.
it. Guardians.
No,
I'm hoping it does really well and is a huge success and that we all love it just like we did before the first two.
yeah. No, I think that was a brilliant pick because that would have been my first pick. If you
Damn
look
right.
at the
Okay.
history
Hell yeah.
of if you look at the history of Marvel movies that aren't the Avengers movies, Guardians of the Galaxy is the one movie that does extremely well with general audiences because even as non-movie comic book fans and non like superhero fans, this movie has hit well with a lot of people. So what I'm hearing is that this movie is extremely emotional. It is a close in a chapter of the team that we know of right now. So this could be huge. And I think a lot of people will definitely go out and support this movie. So that was a brilliant, brilliant pick there. And yeah, I feel kind of bad. I feel kind of bad because you got that, and I was like, oh, that would have been good for me for sure. Yeah. So good
I'm
call
just
on that
psyching
one.
you out right now. I'm just getting you. I'm getting you on your back feet. You're backpedaling now. That was the goal. You're up
No, that
against the
was
ropes. What's your number? What's your number one?
all right. Since you did that, I did have a backup, and again, I always say there are certain things that you'd never count out. Don't ever count out on Christian films because they will always kick ass.
Mhm.
With the right audience. Don't ever count out on anything Medea because people will go out and watch Medea movies regardless, no matter what. And never ever discount Tom Cruise. So I am going to
Okay,
go next pick: Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning Part One. That
that
is
sounds
my
really
first pick.
smart.
Yeah, the Mission Impossible movies always do gangbusters. It's been a hot minute since we got the last one, but
Yeah.
these are always the most anticipated movies that come out every year when they know they're coming out with it. So it's almost like the James Bond movies. Like people are waiting for this next installment. And yeah, based off what they showed at CinemaCon, I think people are going to be overly ecstatic with what they're going to be getting with this movie. So yeah.
Plus, the love for Tom Cruise is kind of at
Oh
an
yeah.
all-time high, at least in the last like 30 years or so.
Yep.
Dude's riding high. This might be a gut check, but they've been so good at these movies lately.
Yep.
I don't know if the IP love is there the way it is for some of these other ones that I'm looking at, and what my next couple picks would be.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I'm interested in that one. That's one of those that it could be like a 400 million and it could be like a 1.1 billion type of dude.
Yeah.
So speaking of that, the franchise love world. Wait, also, did we clarify? Are we doing domestic or global?
Global.
Good. So I'm going Fast
Yeah.
X for my next one.
Oh, nice. Okay. All right.
Built-in franchise love translates across the globe. Um, I actually like these. The last couple haven't been that good. I have a feeling this
Yeah.
one will be. At least they're putting everything they can into it. There's a version where there's been enough discord behind the scenes for long enough that it kind of just doesn't piece together the way it should. But no
Yeah.
matter what, it'll at least be successful enough. I won't be mad that it's in my top 10, and I'm taking that one off the board.
Yeah, no, good call because it's a guilty pleasure franchise. Like I think a lot of people already know that this movie, like these movies, especially the recent ones, are terrible, but they can't help but watch them because they just
Yep.
love the movies, right? They love the franchise. So, and for a global market, it translates. So I think that is very very smart. Great second pick there. So for my second pick, again, speaking of a global audience that loves these movies and they just can't stop making them, my second pick will be Transformers: Rise of the Beast. Like
Mm.
these movies, they do so well whenever they come out, regardless of how bad and critically, um, how critically put down these movies are. People still go out and watch these movies. They're also guilty pleasure movies, as far as I'm concerned. But it also translates with a global audience. So I think they're doing something smart also this time. Bumblebee would have made more money if people knew it was a Transformers movie, but they didn't because they didn't put
Mm.
Transformers in the title. Now they're going back to saying Transformers: Rise of the Beast, so people know that this is a Transformers movie. So I think this is going to do really well come summertime.
I'm not quite ready because I'm surprised you the two you've taken so far are surprising to me as high as they are on your list. I'm starting to get confident, and this is probably where I whiff. So I'm kind of deciding between three, and I'm not going to say them out loud because then it might increase the chances that you take one of these. Now, no, I'm choosing between four. I'm going to go with shit.
See, this is where it gets interesting.
I want to take another one from you that you would want on your list.
Okay.
Now that I've got you on your back feet, I need to push you back against the ropes. I'm going Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse.
Okay.
I'm
Good one.
feeling good
Good.
about
Good.
that.
Good. Yeah.
Marvel love, the Spider-Man love, Spider-Man being even more popular since last Spider-Verse movie came out.
Yep.
So beloved. I think everyone's going to go see this, and some people will see it a bunch. So
Yeah.
feeling good about that. Feeling pretty good
Yeah.
about that.
Yeah. And again, it's another great movie that does well globally as well. So yeah, good. Good. Good choice there. All right. Let's see. Okay, this is yeah. Now we're getting close to the point where it's gonna get very, very interesting here. So
Mhm.
my next pick, and this is a gut pick. I don't know how well this movie is gonna do, but it has potential to do amazing. The Flash. I am picking The
Yeah,
Flash.
that was one of the ones I
Yeah.
was choosing between. Good call. Damn.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think The Flash, mainly because of nostalgia, because Michael Keaton's back as Batman. And if you notice any of the
Yeah.
promos, that is what they're leaning in on. They are leaning in heavily on making sure that people are reminded that, hey, the Batman you loved back in '89, he's back. And I think that's what is drawing a lot of people. Now, for the more comic book nerdy type of people, guys, and all that, they just want a better fleshed out Flash storyline. And I think they're getting that here too. Now, there may be some issues because of the whole Ezra Miller thing.
Mhm.
Like that is in the minds of some people, not everyone, but in some. So that might hurt the box office on this one. But I think there's also that general curiosity,
Might help
regardless.
it. Bad
Yeah,
publicity is good publicity. Oh, what the hell is with this guy, this movie? How did they
yeah,
handle it? And so there are people who are going to like boycott it or low key boycott it.
yeah,
Well, I just don't want to support that because of the stories in a cancel culture way.
yeah.
But there's a version where that's a lot of headlines that mention this movie for months and
Mm-hmm.
months,
Oh yeah,
and a lot of fascination behind the scenes. Okay,
yeah.
I respect that. I'm gonna take a bigger swing here. We're getting to the part where it's like it could be 100 million, it could be a bill, kind of stuff. And then I'm curious, just on like a little inside baseball. Do you have a list
Sure.
of like number 1 through 20 for you and what you want, or like
I do not.
have you ranked these, or are you're just
No,
eyeballing the list and gut check?
I'm just
Do you have
I'm
any system at
eyeballing.
all?
No, just I'm going
Wow.
off of because I know the movie's
Like how
coming
you
out
do
this
short
summer,
films at the Oscars. You're like, yeah, I don't know. I don't even
and you know the success rate I have of that
pure
so
gut.
far. Yeah,
Okay.
no, the thing is like I know the major movies coming out this summer, so I have that already in my mind. So like everything that we discuss right now, those are movies I've already had in my mind that these are movies that are going to make a lot of money this summer. So yeah,
I want to steal another one from you, but can you tell me what your next one's going to be?
no,
Come on.
that's not
Come
how
on.
it works.
Give me one. Give me.
No.
What I don't want is the one where all the movies that I like, I let go. And then I just have a list of movies that I don't like that are going to be very successful. At the risk of that, I'm going to take a swing on the Top Gun 2 kind of vibe and go with Indiana Jones. I have a
Oh,
feeling that will be
yeah,
very successful, and
yeah,
it'll at least make good ass money. You've
yeah,
got the multiple generations of fans of it, and the last ones haven't been good, and the vibe is that this one will be good. That's
yeah,
at least the vibe I've been getting from the ether. I don't know why.
yeah.
Maybe you do, but this one, in theory, it should be a back to the and if there is any word of mouth of this is Indy's back, people will come all the way out for
Sure.
this franchise.
Yeah, I think this is definitely going to be one of those. I know there are people that are very hesitant about this movie because of the last one that we got.
Mhm.
But for those of you like you and I, all we have to hear is James Mangold. James Mangold
Mhm.
is directing this movie, and he's done a lot of great movies so far. So I'm very confident that he's going to do well with this movie. Initial buzz is that the movie looks amazing, but that's all I know. So I think, yeah, for me, this was also on my list, but it's also a pure gut thing. Like I think it's going to do really well. Who knows? It's
Will
going to
we
be
look back and
interesting.
say he mangled the franchise expectation? I think it'll
Ooh,
be. I think it'll
Love
be
it.
successful at the very
Yeah.
least. So okay, taking it off the
Yeah.
board. It's mine.
Nice.
I don't
Nice.
want it. It's Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. It's mine.
Nice. All right. All right. So for me, all right, I'm going to have to go. So there's one thing, as we've known, that does extremely well always, and that's Disney.
Ah, damn you!
And
I was going to hit that one next.
there has to be
Neither
a
did we.
Disney movie that is really going to blow up somehow, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, they do really well when it comes to Pixar animation,
Mm-hmm.
but then if you look at recent Pixar stuff, it's been kind of up and down, you know. When it comes to live action, it's been kind of
Yeah,
mostly you know.
and some big disappointments. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of talk about this one coming up. A lot. And plus, it is a movie that is dear to the hearts of so many that grew up with it. It's usually referenced between this and two other movies, that being Beauty and the Beast and Lion King.
Mm-hmm.
So this is going to be huge, and if it does well, it could be even bigger. So
Mm-hmm.
my next pick will be The Little Mermaid.
I hate you. I thought you were going to go with Elemental when you started talking about Pixar.
No,
Okay,
no, yeah,
interesting.
because
You really
I'm
very
I'm
dramatic, Rene.
I know.
Bravo.
Yeah, yeah, that's what I do. You have to make it exciting. And plus, again, if you look at Pixar's more recent history, it's been kind of all over the place. I think if it's Toy Story, you know that's going to do really well. If it's not,
Yeah.
yeah, don't know. So I'm going Little Mermaid, and I think the majority of the box office is going to be one, the true fans of the Little Mermaid who just want to go see this, who love the music and all that. Two, it's going to be a lot of curiosity. I think a lot of people are going to be very curious how well this movie is done. So, and this could be one of those where it makes all of its money the first weekend and it just tanks after that. You
Yeah.
know, so
Yeah.
we'll see. That's the risk I'm taking in this one.
The fact that Beauty and the Beast live action got 1.2 bill, if I'm reading that correctly, is
Because
wild.
global too. You have to think
Yeah.
of the global market.
Yeah.
Yeah, this will do
Yeah.
well globally. Yeah.
Yeah. And you also get the thing where it's multiple generations, which there was
Yep.
before the live action Lion King turned out to be a bust. There were people who were saying it might be the most successful movie of all time because you get the
Yeah.
multiple generations and it's so beloved, classic franchise, like
Mm-hmm.
great IP, and it just didn't work that well. There's a lot of talk about it. There's also I recently saw people meme dunking on how the animals look. There's people
Yeah.
talking about how it's like too dark and like we're not gonna
Yep.
be able to see that well underwater kind of thing. And like you might have a Sonic the Hedgehog problem where if they didn't fix
Yeah.
Sonic, no one was gonna see that damn movie. It ended up doing
Right.
pretty good. Possible, similar to Lion King, that it just doesn't feel nice to look at weird looking, uncanny animals that you used to love and now are kind of freaked out by,
Yeah.
like a Hall of Mirrors, or there's some version of that, like a Disney ride or something, where it's just kind of like it's kind of creepy.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll see. I
We'll see.
I would have picked that one next. You've done that to me a
Yeah.
couple times now, and I'm tired of it. So I'm going to start telling me what you're picking next, so that way I pick them before. But
Yeah, and also to say one last thing about Little Mermaid too. The big thing out of CinemaCon was that they showed Melissa McCarthy as Ursula singing the song that she sings,
hmm.
and according from what I read, it tore the house down. People were
Oh
blown away
wow,
by it. So
wow.
they're saying now it's almost as if she was born to play this role. So
Hmm. Whoa. Okay.
who knows?
All right. Now you got me on my back feet. Okay. On my heels. There's a phrase there. I'm gonna go. This is not necessarily my guess of what will be most successful, but I want it. I want this one on my list.
Mhm.
I'm a Letterboxd bro. I'm going Oppenheimer.
Nice, nice.
I don't know how to feel about that. With Christopher Nolan and box office history, there's also the problem where his last one was a pandemic bet that didn't really pay off.
Yeah,
My gut is that this will be globally do very well, but I also don't know. It's the kind of movie we might hear stories like, oh, it got pulled in these countries because of the political messaging of it or something like that. I don't know what to expect. I don't
hmm
think Christopher Nolan is playing the box office game himself. I think he's making whatever movie he wants. And some of those
yeah,
have been among the most successful movies of all time. And some of them are they're all successful basically, especially in a box office way. But is it going to be that level? I am
Mhm.
so excited for this one. I'm taking that one off the board. Just because I want it in my collection and I'm hopeful about it.
Yeah. No, that's a great choice, I think. Again, Nolan does movies for box office. He does it for cinema, and
Mhm.
I think again, almost like Cameron, I don't think you should ever doubt Christopher Nolan when it comes to box office numbers because he does movies for the theatrical experience,
Right,
So
right.
I think this will do really well. It's going to be one of those where I may have to watch this in the theater because that's how massive it is. That's how, whatever. So I think good call on that one for sure.
Thank you.
All right.
Are
So for
we?
my
Oh, this is your fifth one. Is that
this will be
right?
my fifth. Yeah. So
Okay.
with my next pick, we'll be halfway through our list. So with this one, okay, I'm gonna go out on a limb here. All right. You've heard me say it already before. I think this year's Top Gun Maverick or Everything Everywhere All at Once could very well be this movie. I'm going with Barbie. I
That was my
think
next one. I hate
I
you.
think Barbie has the
Mm.
potential to be a surprise hit that
Mhm.
everyone's going to be talking about for the rest of the year. It has a lot of things going for it right now. It has Greta Gerwig directing, Noah Baumbach who helped write the script. You have Margot Robbie, Ryan Gosling, Simu Liu. You have a great cast. Already great buzz surrounding it. Warner Brothers is all in on this movie to the fact where at their presentation at CinemaCon, you had executives dressed up in pink suits and tuxedos promoting this damn movie. I think this could be a surprise for a lot of people this summer.
I think you're right. I was going to pick it next, and
Yeah.
my gut was to take it above Oppenheimer,
Hmm.
but basically this movie has to hit a couple demographics in just the right way, and if it
Sure.
flops on that parlay, it's
Yeah.
not going to be successful in that big box office way. But if it
Very true.
hits like teens, young women, parents, like if there's a version of this movie where it's successful across the board, and also the amount of talk on it, like once the Barbie trailer drops and it became a meme where
Yeah.
for my Instagram for 2 days was everybody was doing their picture as a Barbie and the
The
Barbie who
Barbie,
does,
yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Which is
that
smart
says a
because
lot.
again, it's they're the people, the public are doing the marketing for this movie.
Yeah,
So it's in the minds of everyone at this point.
everyone knows what a Barbie is. Like it's
Yeah.
just could be its own word.
Yeah.
um I have a feeling that this one will, at the very least, it'll have a great opening weekend
Oh, I
for
hope so.
sure.
I hope
Yeah.
so. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Not feeling good about anything after this. So all comes with a grain of salt. I'm going to go with TMNT. I don't want it. I don't know why.
Ooh,
think it's going to be good,
interesting.
but the box
Okay.
office predictions seem to like it. And it's at least one thing we notice with Mario is that if you
Yeah.
have a movie that's geared towards a younger audience and they don't have enough stuff out, it'll do well. We've
Sure.
got multiple generations. If this one does any crossover, it'll be a lot of people going to see it, like
Yeah.
anyone who's been a kid since 1980s. So I have a feeling like this one, it's not going to be number one, I don't think, at the end of the year, but it could do some real business.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, you already have a steady, solid fan base for this franchise. So anything that comes out, people will support it no matter what. So once you have that, that's always a good call to expect at least something big. At least, I feel like the thing we're saying a lot is it's at least going to have a huge opening weekend, you
Yeah.
know. And
Yeah.
then what if it has legs or not? That's to be seen. But it's definitely going to have that initial. I got to see this movie. So cool. All right. So and just quickly, so we could recap because we're already halfway through our list. We just go over what we have so far. So Blake, you have Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, Fast X, Spider Man Across the Spider Verse, Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny, Oppenheimer, and now TMNT Mutant Mayhem. For myself, I have Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning Part 1, Transformers: Rise of the Beasts, The Flash, The Little Mermaid, and Barbie. All right. So,
You had a
for
much
my
better second half of those than I did. How do you feel right now if you were to bet on one of us just based off this list? How are you feeling?
I honestly, I think we're very close. I think we're
Yeah.
going to end up being very close. I think you with Guardians, that might end up being the majority of your box office, like
Yeah.
the top dog of your entire list. And then it's all going to depend on how well everything else does at that point. For me, I'm really riding on how I think how big Mission Impossible is going to be.
Yeah.
So I think it's going to be close. I think it's going to be close right now.
Okay. Are we putting anything on this, by the way? Because I know that I don't know if you ever. I don't think you ever did the last bet, so I'm not
I
sure if that
not
even
yet.
matters. But yeah, yeah. No, I know. I know. That's the kind of friend you are. Um,
we
but
could we could talk about that later in the next episode. We could think of it and we could come up with something.
we've got some options. I
Okay.
was gonna say, well, the problem is Barbie won't be out. I was gonna say you have to go full costume to one of these movies. Um, but I do think there's a version where we look at the fall schedule and do full costume opening night to
Okay.
one of the,
You know
especially
what?
if it's a cornier one or one that's like you're gonna dress for what? You're gonna dress in as a yeah.
I would be down for that. I would totally be
Okay,
down for that.
when Aquaman drops, you have to wear a like a Little Mermaid scale costume with no legs cut out, and just like crawl your way into the theater. I think that's fine with me because I'm feeling real confident right now. I think that's a great one.
Okay.
Or you have to do the Willem Dafoe ponytail and a Willem Dafoe mask
Oh
up
my
front.
god. That's
The
crazy.
real hero of the first Aquaman movie.
So I think that should just be the thing for both of us. Like whoever loses has to dress up like that
Just
for Aquaman
or just yeah for a whole week.
for a whole week.
Another fun one is you dress up to the rival franchise. So you go to the Marvel movie in a Warner or in a
Oh
DC
my
costume,
god.
or vice versa. But that's also how you get some actual nerd fists in your face. So maybe that's a
Well,
little too dangerous.
actually that would be funny because I already had some of my friends comment saying, "Why did you wear an X-Men suit for your Flash trailer reaction?"
Oh, how dare you? Who
Like
do you
what?
think you are?
Like what? It's comic books. Come on.
Traitor.
All right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we got to go to the Marvels dressed up in full Aquaman gear.
We have some good options.
We got some
Let's talk
options.
more about it, and then in the next episode, let's solidify what
Okay.
that thing will be because
Hell
that
yeah.
will be hilarious. I'm so down for that. All right. So for my sixth pick, I think okay, I think I know where I'm going with this one. So one of the things that is always a given for box office turnout are horror movies, especially horror movies with huge following. So my next one is going to be Insidious: The Red Door.
Smart.
I th-
Yeah.
I think the Insidious franchise has been one of the more successful horror franchises in recent years. From what I hear, this is the first. Now I haven't seen any of them except for the first one. But from what I hear, people are anticipating this movie because it's the first time the original characters are coming back to reunite. So this could end up being the most successful out of all of these movies because of that anticipation. So I'm going with Insidious: Red Door as my sixth pick there.
I don't have much to add. It's a great pick. It's similar to talking about with like certain demographics, like horror movies do damn well. And I was just looking through
Yeah.
the list. There's enough horror movies there, and especially if you get a surprise one where it's
Mm-hmm.
like, oh, Paranormal Activity was an indie movie and now it's doing great, kind of thing. Like
Yeah.
those can be. That's one good place to get a sleeper is the low budget horror movie that does super well.
Yeah.
Um, I didn't know which horror movie to pick, but I think Insidious is one of the most correct choices there. So good on you. Now I'm rooting against that movie. I was going to see it anyway. I'll go ahead and jump in my next pick, but first I do want to mention a couple options. We're not picking it now. It's
Okay.
fine. For the bet, Legally Blonde 3, you have to wear a blonde wig, a full long blonde.
Is that coming out this year?
2023 according to something that I'm seeing.
Huh.
And what's that worth?
Okay.
Uh, Another option is Napoleon, starring Joaquin Phoenix. You have to wear a full Napoleon hat and have your hand in your shirt for the entire movie. Option three would be Wonka, and you have to do the giant blueberry costume. And as annoying as it'll be,
Wow.
yeah, and just stand the whole movie because there's no way you could sit down with that
Oh,
thing
I would
on.
be so hated during that screening. Oh,
Yep.
people would hate me for that.
That'd be so funny though. And get a little beanbag and just plop back on it. Okay. Yep. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say for that I should get like a front row seat and just stand the whole time, so,
Oh
like
my
right by
God.
the screen.
I can't sit down. Stop yelling at me.
Yeah,
I
it's
wish
not
I
my
could.
fault.
I lost
It's
the
not my fault.
bet. I thought Mission Impossible would be $1 billion. It was 400 million. Stop yelling. I'm mad
Oh my
too.
god, that would be so hilarious.
Next one, going on gut from here on out. Joyride. A
Oh,
lot of people are going to show up for Joyride, and there's a chance that it is fully successful. So I'm just putting that one down.
okay.
Yep.
Yeah, based on the trailer, that movie looks like it's gonna be freaking hilarious. Plus, it is what I like to say the Asian film of the year because it's an all Asian cast, and you could tell they're going for that demographic. It's the same people who I think produced or created Crazy Rich Asians and all that, so you kind of know what to expect from it.
Same writer. Yeah.
The writer, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. I'm sure there might
So
be other crossover too, but yeah. That's kind of my gut. Is at the very least, what I'm kind of betting on now is I don't know that anything we pick from here is going to do half a bill, but
mm,
I just want things that are kind of like they have a high floor
yeah,
on as a guess because I don't want to do anything that'll be a full flop. You do a sleeper and there's a chance like, oh, this one does super great, word of mouth, little engine that could kind of
hmm,
movie. There's also a chance it's like, oh, that one made 10 million and your average is way off. So I'm just trying to do things that'll like at least make good money.
yeah, yeah. No, that's smart. Um,
Thank you.
all right. So my next pick is, and again, I personally don't see this movie doing that well, but I don't think I'm the one who is the main demo for this movie. Based off of the feedback I've been seeing online, there are a lot of people who are really waiting for this movie to come out, and that's Blue Beetle. I'm going to choose Blue Beetle
Okay.
as my next
Solid.
one. Um, Straight up all Latino cast. You know, it is like going to be the first Latino superhero that we're going to see on the big screen. So I think it has a lot of that going for it, and I think a lot of people are really going to go out and support this movie. So
A really good call. It could be a built-in demographic movie, and it could be like Black Panther
right,
one, where if it transcends that and fully crosses over, and it's a genre that's built for it, it
yeah,
could be it could be a huge hit where people go, oh, I hadn't heard of that hero before, and then now it's like all the Halloween costumes are Blue Beetle.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
solid. I don't feel good about anything from here. Kind of just wish we limited it at 7. I don't think I could talk you into that though. Um, I'm gonna go with one that I just want to take off the board that might be it'll at least do decent numbers is Asteroid City. I'm a Wes
Oh,
Anderson guy.
nice.
I'm a Christopher Nolan guy. I'm a Letterboxd
Yeah,
bro. I want this one on my list, and there's a chance it does damn good numbers. It should at least do fine. And
yeah,
worst case, I won't regret having that on my list. Just being a little hopeful.
yeah.
I'm curious if it's actually successful though, and like does a lot of business. I don't. I think it's been a while since Wes Anderson has had a hit, right? But he's had ones like I think Grand Budapest was one where he's get some nominations. Moms love it. Cool kids, hipsters love it. Whatever.
Hmm.
He has enough potential for crossover. This one could be it. And you get a cast list like that. People go, oh yeah, I trust it. Some of the people I know them. I think, and no matter what, all of the anyone who's close to a cinephile is going to go see this one. So
Yeah, yeah. Um, so I'm quickly looking at uh hold on. I'm trying to see if I can pull up box office numbers for Wes Anderson films
mm,
because I'm very curious. Um,
So globally, it's not going to be as good for what that's worth. He
Right.
has such talky movies, but I do have a list here. It just says box office. Lately, we're looking at like 64 mil for Isle of Dogs. Grand Budapest did 175. I don't think this is domestic. I am not fully certain though.
That sounds more like worldwide to me.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
globally, if my number 8 movie gets 150 mil, 200 mil, I'm
Hmm.
not mad about it at all. But that's kind of
Yeah.
the high end of what he's done historically. There's also a chance if this is his most successful one, we hit 200, then that'll be a pretty good choice for the number 8 slot.
Right.
With your last one, like if you're like, I'm not going to hold you to it. This isn't part of the game, but Blue Beetle's so all over the place. I'm curious on your next one you pick, like what you
Hmm.
would guess for the box office for it. Like what numbers are we at in this range? You know,
I,
if the
I
top
think,
ones were a
yeah.
bill plus 1.2, kind of is the high end for some of those number one picks that we had, the top few. What are you feeling
Yeah.
here?
So with our next picks, the for the remainder of what we're going to do in our list, I think there's still one or two that has the potential to do 200 to 300 mil. I
Yeah,
think, but I think the rest are going to be 100 mil and below. I think at this
yeah,
point, So again, this is going to be where gut and guessing is really going to come into play here because there's one on this list that neither one of us has picked yet that has a potential to be a 300 mil movie if it's done right, if it's
you're
if
about
it's
to pick
good.
it.
And I think I'm gonna go
No,
ahead
leave
and
it for
hit
me. What is it?
it. So that's Elemental. I am gonna
Yeah, that
go
was my
full
next
in
one. Damn you.
Elemental. Yeah, because again, Pixar movies they have a tendency to do well, but if the movie itself isn't great, then they flop immediately after opening weekend. I'm hearing decent stuff about this movie. Um, Nothing really crazy. The last Pixar movie to come out was Lightyear, right? I
Hmm.
believe last year, and that movie worldwide did 218 million. So not terrible, um, but that could be what I'm looking at for a movie like Elemental. So yeah, so I'm gonna go with that.
That would have been mine. I actually would have picked that over my actual number 8, Asteroid City, but I just wanted Asteroid City on my list, and I was hoping you wouldn't pick Elemental. It's a smart, of course you did. Um, but yeah, I don't have any extra thoughts to add to that. It's one of those like
Yeah,
it'll at least do decently, and it's kind of another thing I'm not sure about. And what if I was going hardcore on this list, I would check release dates, what else it's up against.
sure,
Are
like
there other kid
competition
movies
and all
on
that.
there? Are there
Yeah,
other horror movies and like
yeah.
demographic questions like that for or genre questions? My number
Well,
nine.
I think the
Yeah, go
biggest
ahead.
competition we have right now is Oppenheimer and Barbie are opening up the same
Oh,
weekend.
that's. I almost think it helps them. You know how 50 Cent and Kanye did the head-to-head release
Yeah,
date, and both of
yeah, yeah,
them
yeah.
like Kanye won by a lot. That was a monumental moment in hip hop.
Right.
But they had a lot of articles about that. I think it doesn't hurt them, and just if someone's only doing one movie every 2 months, they're gonna only see one of those. It doesn't hurt you. It's someone like me and plenty of people. I might do back to back the same night.
Oh yeah,
Definitely
for
that
sure.
Thursday Friday combo,
Yeah,
something like
yeah.
that. Um, so yeah, okay.
And
That is
also
that
like
is a good question though. Yeah, for of
yeah,
why we put which ones higher and lower. I put. Did we have them in the same spot? Yeah, I had my number 5 was Oppenheimer and your 5
did
was
we?
Barbie.
Oh,
That's
we
funny.
did,
Yeah,
did we? Oh, that's
that's funny.
hilarious. Oh, that's great.
Now we
Yeah,
got shit writing on it.
another thing to also consider too is running time because we also know running time does play heavily on box office numbers sometimes. So, um, I believe this Oppenheimer movie is supposed to be 3 hours, right? Is it?
Yeah,
But
I
so
don't
is
know, but it's a
Guardians,
long
though.
one.
So is Guardians, though. I think
A lot of
Guardians is
movies these
also,
days.
yeah.
That's a conversation we can
So
have. Movie runtimes are getting longer, and I
they are,
love
aren't
it.
they? It's
I'm a
crazy.
sicko who loves it.
Yeah.
Fucking lock me into a theater, Clockwork Orange me. I don't care. I'll watch. If I like the movie, I'll watch it for 24 hours straight until I'm
Yeah.
brainwashed.
Yeah. That
Plug
doesn't
me
bother
in.
me at all. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Um, number 8, no, 9 for me, right?
9. Yeah.
I'm
Hmm.
going the last movie, which surprised me it was this high. The second movie in this franchise made 180 mil.
Okay.
This is a franchise that was talked about in like film online communities because of like what's the best action star that doesn't have a franchise. This is the days of IP
Mm.
when just people were getting pulled left and right into IP franchise stuff.
Okay.
Denzel Washington did not have a franchise or a IP sequel until Equalizer 2. It made over 180 mil at the box office. I'm feeling pretty decent about Equalizer 3. My other gut is that last one came out in 2018.
Okay.
Since then, a lot of people have been doing streaming, have gotten more comfortable with it. They're watching
Sure.
movies at home, spend a lot more time at home streaming. And I think a lot of people watched one and two. I remember seeing those and thinking, holy crap, these are actually really fun and good movies. It's not quite John Wick, but to me, it's kind of on the level of like,
Mm-hmm.
hell yeah, fist pumping, quality action movie. If enough, like, it's almost like the last few years could be good word of mouth for Equalizer, even though it didn't transcend into like huge box office success.
Yeah.
But there's a world where in the last 5 years since the last one came out, a lot of people saw one and two going, oh, I like Denzel, I'll check this one out finally, and then now they're game for number three, and the box office from before doesn't even show it. So this one could be a good bet. At the very least, I think it'll do all right. It's a Denzel
Yeah.
movie. It's an action movie. I personally really enjoyed one and two a lot, and it could do some like it could be among the highest box office ones in this realm of the
Yeah.
draft.
Yeah. No, I mean that's not a bad pick at all. The fact I'm actually surprised that they're up to a third in this series
Yeah,
already, you know. But Denzel is Denzel, you know, and at CinemaCon they awarded him lifetime achievement this past week. Um Cinema owners, they love him, studios love him, all that, you know. They're what is it? The tagline for this movie is it looks like he finally met his equal.
mm.
Get it?
Mm. Yeah.
Yeah. And this also sounds like it's promised to be, I think, the final in this franchise. So it could be a lot of people just like looking to see, okay, how is this whole thing going to close out, right? So yeah, I that's a pretty. It's just like the whole. It's also like another conversation that people have now about the older actors doing the action films now, like the Liam
Yeah.
Neesons. You know, you have Denzel's now doing it. Gerard Butler constantly still does this stuff. You know,
The
so
Expendables and the Red franchise are both just
yep,
what happens if we get a group of old famous people to do an action movie.
yep,
Yeah.
yeah. So that's always like a big draw there. So okay, good stuff. So for my ninth pick. Yeah, this is where it gets really,
Mhm.
really challenging.
This is literally where my list falls off, especially because you took a couple that were lower on my list, but it was
Mhm,
like 15 that I was pretty confident, like these are going to do good. Everything after
right,
this is like it could go either way.
right. Um, all right. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go crazy balls to the wall here.
Don't do that. Whatever you do, don't do that. I
Well,
don't even know
I'm
what
not.
that means.
I'm not. I'm not gonna show it on camera, but
Okay.
I think I'm going the Meg too.
Huh. I have
So
that on my short list. Okay.
yeah, I think this is one of those movies that is so batshit crazy that people have to go to the theater and watch it. And they're probably going to go to the theater stoned, drunk, on mushrooms, whatever the case is, and they're just going to have a ruckus of a time because this is the type of movie that I think will do that. They debuted a trailer at CinemaCon. It's not available to the public yet, but I heard there's a Tyrannosaurus Rex in it. There's like crazy
Oh,
nonsense. It's just batshit crazy from what I'm hearing. And I think it's gonna be like Cocaine Bear, where a lot of people are gonna be like, I have to freaking watch this craziness, you know. So I think it's gonna be one of those, especially with the younger crowd. So
I don't feel
yep,
good about what's about to happen. This is my last one. I don't like
last
that. I
one.
liked it when I
Yep.
had a couple. I was like, okay, I can mess around a little here. I don't think you and I are going to pick the same last one. There's nothing I can do. It's not like you're going to steal anything from me after this. I'm glad you picked Meg too. That was on my short list. The ones that
Mhm.
I'm kind of looking over are Book Club, The Next Chapter, Harold and the Purple Crayon, The Machine, Blackberry. Like this is
uh-huh.
the level of movie we're dealing with now.
Yeah.
I don't feel confident. I kind of want to go like I should probably go horror. I should probably go like something genre-y with a low floor. I'm not. What I am going to do is a demographic type movie is Book Club: The Next Chapter. That's going to be my 10th.
Mhm.
I don't want it on my list. Don't feel
Oh,
that
so
great
you
about
are
it.
doing that.
I am doing that.
Wow. Okay. Hey, you know what? I don't discount or disqualify that choice because again, it's a demographic choice.
The last
This
one made
is perfect.
104 mil,
Yeah.
70 of that being in the US, 105 global.
Yeah.
I think that there's going to be my grandma and mother are both these kind of folks. They're like, oh, what's at the movie theater for me? It's a Tuesday. I don't have much going
Yeah.
on. Me and the girls are getting together. We're doing dinner and a movie. Oh, it's book club time.
Yep. Yep.
That's that choice. So it's not going to blow up. I kind of want to do a sleeper. I kind of want to do one that might really show out at the box office,
Hmm.
shock everyone. There's not many of those options left. I'm going to go with a safer bet for my 10 spot, and hopefully this will be how I eat your lunch. And I
No.
was thinking for the punishment, if Oppenheimer came out later, I would ask you to go to the theater dressed up as Babam from Mario movie, and maybe a mushroom, like a toadstool, like a mushroom hat, like a toadstool hat on your head. I think that would be a cute outfit to wear to Oppenheimer. I got a lot of ideas here, Renee, and I
Okay.
hope I win and I get to choose something ridiculous for you.
All right. Well, we will see. We will see. Again, our list can go either, like many different ways, all depending on how the reception is for any of these movies are. So we'll definitely see. But for my last pick, all right.
What's your? You can read through your short list if you want. I can't do anything to you, and I'm kind of curious what's
Sure.
on there.
So right now, my short list is, and I'm thinking genre at this point.
Yeah,
People that
small.
go out to specific things because there's always going to be the genre for that. So horror, The Nun 2. The Nun was a big hit for a lot of people, so that could be something. Um, Strays, which is a comedy with pets, and we all know people love pets and seeing
Mm,
movies with pets in them. We have
yes,
how
they
many?
do.
If you look at every year, we've had at least one movie about a dog
Does
running
damn good
away,
too.
and they do great.
Yeah,
So with now you add absurd humor to it, that could be a whole other level of things, right?
sure.
So we don't know.
I like that.
Um, Other things to look at is looking at horror, but independent horror. So like A24, you never know when A24 may have a big hit. Talk to Me looks like that could be a crazy romp of a horror ride right there. And
True.
word of mouth could spread, and people are like, you have to see this. You have to see this. You don't know. Um, and then there's always Disney, right? Disney, they seem to do well at the box office. And Haunted Mansion, even though it doesn't look appealing to me,
I know.
could be a good family film.
Horror, not horror, obviously, but it's called Haunted
Right.
Mansion and kids
Yeah.
movie.
Yeah.
That was one of the top ones on my list for sure.
Yeah. So that's my short list right now. Um,
What's the Boogeyman? That says it's Disney.
it's a Stephen King movie. It's like a horror mystery type of movie. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, it
Um,
did pretty damn well.
it
There's a
did.
lot that
I'll
there's
get
a
it.
lot
It
here that
did.
are like safe. Okay, thank you. What's your pick?
All right. I'm going to go with Strays. I'm gonna
Cool.
go ahead with these are the people who love watching dog videos, pet videos on Facebook, Instagram, all that stuff. Now they're saying absurd shit that you and I say. I Every time the trailer pops up in the theater, people are laughing, they're cracking up. So this could be a fun date night movie. This could be like a crazy weekend movie. This could be a movie where a bunch of college dudes go out and watch something together after smoking a bowl. It could be like any of those things. So I am going with Strays.
I am so glad you picked that. I just checked, and I would have picked this sooner. Nun, the last Nun movie, made 306,
I thought
360
so.
million.
Yeah, I thought so. Yeah.
Dumb money. Like
Yeah.
for a 10 pick, I would have picked that for the record. Strays is
Yeah.
solid, but also Will Ferrell's box office in recent history, not very good.
Not
He's
very
had
good.
two Netflix movies, Spirited and Eurovision. He's got 40 million for Holmes and Watson. Daddy's Home 2 did 180. This might be more that type.
Yeah,
Um, the first Daddy's Home did 240. Get Hard 111 million. So actually, these aren't actually terrible. It's just by the old Will Ferrell standards, these are
sure.
terrible. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
and
Honestly,
I
solid
think
pick.
the saving grace here is that you're not seeing Will Ferrell, and if people are tired of
That's so
seeing Will
sad, but you're
Ferrell's
right.
shtick,
Yeah.
then they don't consider this to be like a Will Ferrell movie. Yeah, his voice is in it, but you don't see him, right? And same thing could be said about Jamie Foxx too. Like Jamie Foxx has kind of been up and down recently, right? But one thing that he's funny at is what he says. So I think his dialogue will really carry this movie and all that. So I don't know. You're right. Maybe I should have gone with Nun too, and I was very much thinking of it, but
I should have. That's for sure.
but
But no, this is actually a
uh,
safer bet. I'm
yeah,
looking at his box office history. It's more that the quality of comedy is disappointing. He still
yeah,
does numbers.
yeah,
He's got like Anchorman was 90 million. He had higher ones with like Talladega Nights, the next one, 162.
right.
That's good. Blades of Glory, 145. But even recently, he's doing 175 mil for Daddy's Home. He's doing 172 million for Anchorman 2. Like
Yeah.
late stage Will Ferrell's still holding it down. It's just no
Hey,
one like it doesn't have the acclaim that it did before.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, he does it
Solid,
do.
solid,
So
solid 10,
yeah,
solid 10 pick.
but it's gonna be interesting to see what happens. So let's just recap real quick for everyone. So for Blake, his list here: Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, Fast X, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny, Oppenheimer, TMNT Mutant Mayhem, Joyride, Asteroid City, The Equalizer 3, and Book Club The Next Chapter. For myself, we have Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1, Transformers Rise of the Beast, The Flash, The Little Mermaid, Barbie, Insidious The Red Door, Blue Beetle, Elemental, The Meg 2, and then Strays. It's funny. I'm noticing now. I'm the one that has the most franchises on my list, right? Which is really interesting. But that doesn't always mean it's gonna equate to box office numbers. So yeah, there
You're
you
good
have
at
it.
these things. I think the other thing that I wouldn't bet against is one, you're going to see some of my movies because I took movies that you like, and that'll just be
Yeah,
funny when you give money to my side of the bracket, and I'll love that. I'll be like, oh no, did you like? Honestly, you should buy a ticket for another movie and sneak in, but it's harder these days with the assigned seating.
that is
The
true.
other the other aspect of it is that you don't know how much money I'm going to pay on Oppenheimer and Asteroid City. So if I need to juice my numbers, I'm going to just keep going to those movies over. Like Interstellar was like, oh, that's too long. Oh, I could almost not even sit there. I was like, I saw it 6 times in theaters. You don't know how committed I am to my fucking film Twitter bro ass lifestyle. So I'm going to be juicing these numbers, especially if I need some last minute help. Don't worry.
Hell, for his last movie, we freaking rented out a damn theater for it. So look at all the money we gave him for that.
Tenet theater rental. Great
Hell yeah,
memory.
that was awesome. I wish we could do that
More,
again. If the prices were
yeah.
the same, I would do that in a heartbeat.
Hell yeah. To
So
honestly hear more box office memories and fun like we've had.
yeah.
Or movie road trips and stuff.
Oh, so
It's
yeah.
been a journey, that's for sure,
Oh
Renee.
yeah, hell
And
yes,
I'm
it has
excited
been.
to just to see how this summer goes.
Yeah, no, this is going to be a lot of fun. Again, all you have to do is stay tuned to find out who ends up as the top winner at the end of the summer. And stay tuned for our next episode because that is when we'll determine what is going to be the the penalty, the punishment for the loser of this little contest of ours. If you want to play along, by all means, in the comments, why don't you put in your top 10 choices of what will the top box office winners will be this summer. We would love to hear your choices. Mention them in the comments and all that. But that's pretty much our episode for this week. So again, we thank you so much for tuning in as always. Before we head on out of here, Blake, where can people find you online?
Just go to the Letterboxd app. My screen name is last name Wolf. How it sounds, last name Wolf, no punctuation. That's where you can see where I gave Polite Society 4 stars, and you'll also see all the movies we just talked about as we see them throughout the summer. And you'll watch my score for any Christopher Nolan movie just go down over time after I see it 6 times. I'm like, well, it got really. The third time it was great. The seventh time it's a little tiresome. I'd seen it before.
Which one of his movies went down the most rating wise for you?
Over time, that's actually a really good
Yeah.
question.
Oh, see, this is why people tune in. We want to hear.
Hold on. I have to go through my Rolodex. Probably Inception.
Really?
Yeah, that movie got popular for other people. I did not enjoy it as much when that shine wore off. And
Interesting.
That's the problem with mindfuck movies is the second and third viewing, they're not as special if that's what it's got going for. And that's kind of a Christopher Nolan problem in general. He's got a lot of like puzzle movies, like Memento. It's got one mind-blowing watch, and you always like anyone who loved it rewatches it because like, and now I want to see it, knowing what happens. Very few people see Memento a third time. It's a Christopher Nolan problem specifically. So I would say I think Inception is the one that comes to mind without having the list in front of me.
Okay. Oh, that's interesting. Yeah. I think for me, if I were to pick like off the top of my head, it probably is Batman Begins. I think the more I watch that, the more I'm not as into it as I was the first time around. So
it's great. I love the Batman ones off my list. To me, those are more DC than Christopher Nolan.
Okay.
And they're not like Nolan. But they are his movies. So, but yeah, I agree. Like that is a great choice for that.
Yeah. Sure. All right. So yeah, see, again, another reason why you need to follow Blake on Letterboxd, because his lists are very fascinating and you could see insights like that in time the more you follow. As for me, I'm also on Letterboxd. You could see my screen name down below, but it's always the same thing. It's LOWKEY GEEK, where you can find me on Twitter, Instagram, as I said, Letterboxd, but more importantly, here on YouTube. Again, if you haven't done so yet, hit that like button, subscribe, hit the notification bell to get notified every time a video is posted. If you want LOWKEY GEEK on the go, all you have to do is check out the LOWKEY GEEK podcast channel on your podcast platform of choice, where you can download audio versions of what we do here on the channel for your downloading and listening pleasure. And last but not least, if you are in a position to help further support the channel and help the channel grow, do check out our affiliates that we have in the description, where you could find probably something very awesome for yourself or for a loved one. And by participating, you will be helping support this channel at no additional cost to you. And for that, I, myself, and Blake are very much thankful. So, with all that being said, this has been Movie Time. I've been Rene. That's been Blake. Thank you again for watching. We will catch you in the next one. Until then, stay cool, stay classy, stay safe. See you all in the next one. All right. Peace out, everyone. Bye-bye.